Oops. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
should be able to. Welcome to our June 2023 monthly meeting for the DFW Metro NAACP. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, wait.
Yes,
Somebody
I
put
can hear
something in
you.
the chat to let me know you all can hear me. Okay, got you. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Denise, can you hear me, Ms. Wooten?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Maybe no one can hear me.
Here, Crystal, can you hear me?
I am so sorry. Can you all hear me now?
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
Crystal, several of us have confirmed that we can hear you. There's someone named Denise McClone who's also asking if they can be heard. And yes, we can hear you as well.
Okay, thank
We
you
can all
all.
just go on mute and then we'll let Crystal get the meeting kicked off.
Okay. Thank you all so much. I appreciate that. I moved the screen or did something, so I lost sound on my side. So thank you so much. So again, welcome to our DFW Metro NAACP monthly meeting. It is our June meeting. I hope everybody celebrated Juneteenth on yesterday. I hope you all celebrated for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 days, because there have been activities and presentations throughout the entire Metroplex. So I hope you all participated in something to celebrate emancipation and our Freedom Day. So again, for those of you that are joining for the first time today, the DFW Metro NAACP covers Carrollton, Capel, Louisville, Flower Mound, and Grapevine. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and start with our opening prayer, and I will start with that. Dear God, thank you so much for this day. We thank you for keeping all of us, giving us grace and mercy to see this new day. We pray, oh God, that you would be uplifted and magnified in all that we do, that you direct our meeting today, that it'll be a meeting of information, advocacy, and motivation for us all to get involved and do the work that you've called us to do. We pray that something will be said today that will ignite motivation to make a difference, to get involved, to stand up, speak up, stand out, and do whatever you've called us to do. We thank you for our speaker that has joined us today. We thank you for her life. We thank you for everything that she does in the community and her willingness to share with us today. We also want to pray for our DFW Metro NAACP leaders and our officers and our members and the community. We thank you for all that you're doing with our little small branch, allowing us to make big differences and impact in the community. In the name of Jesus, how we love you and we praise you. Amen. Amen. Thank you all. Okay. Madam Treasurer, you want to go ahead and do the welcome for us? And then Drew, if you would like to do the birthdays for us.
So good evening, everyone. So we want to send you a big welcome from DFW Metro NAACP. If we have any kind of first-time guests who are joining us today, we'd love to say hello to you. So if you want to either come off mute and introduce yourself, or if you want to type it in the chat, so we'll know who you are and we can make sure that we stay connected with you, that would be great.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you can see, but my name is Denise McClone, and I have with me Miss May Bronex, and I have someone else named Renee Pratt, who will be also interested in working on the committee and helping us get some work done. And Mrs. Bronex has been a longtime member of the Louisville area. And you want to say hello? Hello.
Awesome.
Hello there. We're glad to have you all. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us. I echo our Madam Treasurer. Thank you so much, Ms. Monica, for introducing and welcoming our guests and I am super excited to have you all here as well. I'll turn it over to our communications chair, Ms. Drew Murray.
Hello, everyone. We like to recognize birthdays and anniversaries. If you have one this month, could you please tell us when your birthday is and or when your anniversary is? Is there anyone that wants to announce that? No, I guess we're missing people. Well, we'll just say happy June to everyone here.
Thank you so much, Drew. We appreciate you. And as Drew said, happy Juneteenth again, since we don't have any birthdays or anniversaries this month. But I know we have a few coming up in July, and I'm looking forward to
You do have one. I'm here.
Yes, but I thought it was, I know the celebration is in July, so that's what I was wondering, was it in July or this month? Okay.
No, it's June 28th.
Okay. Happy birthday to Miss Teresa, my friend, my church member, our number one volunteer and leader with C. Bates as well. I love you to pieces and happy birthday to you. Teresa's like myself and the rest of us. She's going to celebrate all month, not only in June, in July too. So if y'all hear about y'all president out shaking the tail feather, it's going to be true because I'm going to the party too. I am looking forward to it. You're welcome. Okay, anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Drew. And again, happy birthday, Teresa. Drew, we appreciate you welcoming and still helping us celebrate our June birthdays and anniversaries.
Sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, you all, we are constantly in a membership campaign mode. We share this QR code with any and everybody. You can snap a picture of it. If you don't have this information, hold your phone up and scan it. It'll give you all things DFW Metro. And of course, y'all's president has no problem walking up to strangers and talking to any and everybody. But if you need a little help, just walk up to somebody, say, hello, listen. Everybody can start a conversation about this heat. So if you don't know how to spark a conversation, talk about this heat. That's bound to give you several hours of conversation. And then share the QR code so they'll know how to connect with us via online and via our Facebook page and website. And then get them connected. Invite them to one of our meetings, either our team meeting or either our general meeting. So we want everybody to participate in encouraging people to connect with our branch. And we've also been just sharing ways to engage people. We call this our effective recruiting ways. And again, you can invite them to become a member. Our membership is only $30 a year. $30 a year, and that gives you the rights to be a DFW Metro member, the NAACP, and we definitely encourage members, even if you don't live in our area, you are welcome to become an at-large member and be a full-time member of our branch and participate. And then we are encouraging as many people as possible to partake of being a lifetime member. You can get a subscription. That total amount is $750. Now that may sound like a lot, but it's really not. You only pay $75 a year. And in 10 years, that membership is paid off. And the reason why we encourage as many as possible to get the lifetime membership, because this community worked for decades and literally decades to get a branch reactivated in the area. It is not an easy task. We worked very hard, and I encourage our members. I remind our members and leaders all the time that we are not building something only for today. We are building something that's going to outlast and outlive us. So if we are able to get those lifetime memberships get at least over 50 to 60 of them, our community won't have to go through what we went through to try to get another branch started. So that would be our investment in the community to have those lifetime memberships. So again, it's only $750. If you got loan money, shake your pockets and pay it all. But if you like me and you want to pay a subscription, you can pay a subscription of $75 per year. I think I might have said per month, but it's per year and only for 10 years. And once you did that, you are a lifetime member. If you feel gracious enough, maybe pay for a $30 membership for a neighbor, a friend, or a relative. And also remember, youth memberships are only $15, and that counts as well. So if you have youth in the family, please pay for a membership for our babies, okay? So again, effective ways of recruiting and engaging, invite them to participate in our team joint meetings, which are the first Monday of the month. In the month of July, we're going to have that meeting on July the 10th due to the Independence holiday. So normally it will be the first Monday of the month at 7 p.m. But again, in July, we're going to move it to that second week due to the holiday. And then our general meetings are always the second Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. But you all, we're going to do something a little fancy. Our Madam Secretary our Madam Treasurer has suggested that we go shake a tail feather and we go celebrate the Prince tribute with the Sounds of Louisville concert series for next month. So stay tuned. After our speaker, I'm going to give you more information about that, y'all, but we're going to turn up in July. We've been working real hard since we started, but we're going to let our hair down and we're going to have fun, and we're going to go to a concert in July. And I did go check out some restaurants and they welcomed us. So I got some exciting news. So y'all, I'm gonna get to that a little bit later, but I'm really excited to tell you all about that too. And then give them something to do. If you all want to find something to do, call me, call any of our leaders. I got something for you to do. If you got something you know you want to do, kind of let me know. So we'll get you engaged and involved in what we're doing by participating and volunteering. And then come out and participate in the community when we're out doing voter registration or something else fabulous. Okay, and now we're going to, I was trying to see, okay, I am going to turn it over to the most fabulous Miss Kimberly Williams. I'm going to let her take over our volunteer of the month. But first, I think Kim can handle that too. If you're do the part with how to volunteer with the branch, and then I'll let you do our award, okay?
Awesome. So thank you so very much, President Bates. It is a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday evening here in June. Can everyone hear me okay? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. So I'm very excited about how you can volunteer with the DFW Metro NAACP. The way that you can do that right now is by going online to the DFW Metro NAACP.org. You can subscribe down. If you scroll down to the bottom of our website, you will see the ability to subscribe. What you are subscribing to is our communications. And in our communications, we have a beautiful communications team headed up by none other than Miss Drew Murray. And she puts in there all of these amazing opportunities for our community to be able to connect. And so you'll be able to connect with the hackathon team. You can connect with our political action committee. You can connect with the communications team. You can connect with our, let me see what else we got going on. Let's see, our labor and industry. There are so many ways that you can connect with us, and we are looking for you. Our fundraising committee needs your help. So what I need for you to do today is I'm going to put the link to our website in the chat. So you will see it, and it will take you directly to our website so that you can subscribe, you can get the newsletter, and you can click on all the beautiful things that we do in the community. There's a lot of things we do over in Louisville. There are some wonderful things that we have coming up in Carrollton that we'll be doing as we continue to go through the month of June. There were some beautiful things that happened over Juneteenth and the weekend, and our President Bates was amazing as usual as she represented the DFW Metro NAACP. So we're just very excited about all the things that we have coming up. The hackathon team needs your assistance. And the way that you can get involved is let me know in the chat. I want to help with the youth hackathon. I love STEAM. What can I do to help the youth? And if you put that in the chat, not only will myself reach out to you, but there are some awesome people on this line right now that are willing to help you to get connected with the hackathon. And speaking of the hackathon, the fundraising team, and all things volunteering, I am excited to mention someone that I am honored to be able to know and to be able to work side by side with. She has done phenomenal things all over the DFW metro area. To name a few areas, I want to mention Tarrant County, Dallas County, Collin County. So she's everywhere in the North Texas area doing work for us as the people represented for the NAACP. When I met her, she was in the field. And ever since then, she's not stopped. She's a nonstop worker and a doer, and she's a woman of her word. And I am just very excited that she's a part of our NAACP or DFW Metro NAACP's hackathon team, but our volunteer recognition award is going to, I need a drum roll. Is there a drum roll in the house? Thank you, President Bates. So my drum roll is none other than Candace Sublette, and I'm very excited about you having the certificate of participation, and it goes to Candace Sublette, and I am honored to present this to you on the behalf of the hackathon committee, but under the leadership of our president, President Crystal Bates. I couldn't think of anyone else that I would give this honor to for this month of June, because you have worked tirelessly to make sure that we are connected, that we are doing what we said we will do, and we are putting our best foot forward for our DFW Metro community. So thank you so very much for all that you do and all of the plans that are coming forward. I can't wait for them to see just how popping you are. So thank you. And I'll turn it over to you, President Bates.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I appreciate it. And again, I agree with Kimberly. We are super excited to have Candace on board. Candace has been trying to get involved ever since she connected with us. So we were able to finally get her connected, but that didn't stop her from participating in our meetings and everything that we've been doing. So we appreciate you and all of your hard work, all your expertise, all your advice, and all that you bring as an asset to our branch. So thank you. And we are looking forward to all that you're going to continue to do with us. So thank you again, Candace, for everything. Okay. Okay, so I am going to introduce our speaker with no further ado, because we want to give her time to share with us for the next 15-20 minutes. And again, you all stay tuned. I got a lot of good stuff, some surprises to share with you all even afterwards today. And today I want to introduce Mrs. May Brodnex, Miss May Eve Brodnex. She was born in Lake Dallas, Texas, and shortly after, her family moved to Louisville when she was 5 years old. May has many memories of her childhood and life in Louisville growing up. Louisville's population was about 1,500 people. The city had one red light and one constable. One of her favorite memories is walking to Louisville from Lake Dallas with her father. They would walk along the creek and railroad tracks. At the time, May's legs were too short to reach across the creek, so her father would carry her over the railroad trestle. May attended a one-room school in Louisville, and after the 6th grade, she continued her education at Fred Moore School in Denton, Texas. She later married and raised 2 children. She has been a member of Macedonia Baptist Church since the age of 19. She is known throughout the community for her continuous works. May hosted her annual Senior Citizen Dinner and worked with the Mackenzie Henry Neighbor Association, Neighborhood Association, where they would give food baskets to the elderly and adopt a family at Christmas. May continues her involvement throughout the community, offering her assistance and knowledge when needed. You all, I had the pleasure of meeting Ms. Brodnick last year during some of the Juneteenth festivals, actually in Louisville. And you all remember earlier this year in February, we had Reverend Willie Rainwater over in Carrollton who shared with us, and I believe they are family members. So one thing I want us to do is always make sure we're making an effort to help our community preserve the rich Black history in this community, to make sure people know it, that it is preserved, and that we honor it, and definitely take advantage of the opportunities of the families and individuals that are still with us to share with us. And I want to share this before she passes it over. I remember one of the stories she told in last year when I first met her. She told the audience how when she was a little girl, she remembered when they first created the man-made lake, which is Lake Louisville, that we all are very familiar with. And I know many of us over the years, unfortunately, we always hear of tragedies, how people have lost their lives in that lake. When my son talks about doing anything at Lake Louisville, I just cringe, because being in this community and the residents here, we've all heard of tragedy after tragedy every year, and which is very unfortunate. But she told the story and shared with us how she remembered when they created that lake that they didn't clean it out. So there was barbed wire, trash, all kind of stuff at the bottom of that lake. And when she shared that, it made me think, well, gosh, that's probably why there are probably so many tragedies. I mean, it's no telling what's under there now, if it's came loose. And that just, to me, adds to and really makes sense as to why that lake is so dangerous. So I'll never forget her sharing that with us, and it kind of gave me a better view of why, the danger exists with that particular lake. But even though we have very fond memories of Lake Louisville, many of us have gone to celebrations there. I'm sorry, you all, I can't cut that off right now. But we have all had celebrations there. We've cruised the boats on Lake Louisville and have fond memories. So with no further ado, I am going to turn it over to Miss May Brodnick. So you all give her a hand.
Okay. Hello. I don't know what you really want to know. Can you ask what kind of question you need to ask me? Or do what do you want?
You can share anything about the history of Louisville or with your family. Of course, we want to know what you want to share about your family, any memories of Juneteenth or anything else of the community.
Well, going back to the lake, the co-op engineers bought my great grandfather's place, which we lived on in Lake Dallas. And they did have the gardens and hog pens and cow pens and bunch of, and on the property. So that's why I said that they didn't remove all that, because we moved. And there was a cemetery out there that they supposedly moved all of the graves down to where now is called Macedonia Cemetery, which originally was named Mount Olive. But now it's become Macedonia Cemetery. Their grave was moved from Lake Dallas down to there to put the lake in. I'm not sure if they got everybody. I guess we'll never know. But all we know is that they're supposed to move the grave site down there. And like I said, we moved in 1951. We moved to Louisville down off of Railroad Street. And we had to walk probably 2 or 3 miles to get up to the school. And sand was so deep in the summertime, and it would get in your shoes, but you had no other choice but to walk to school. So it was kind of rough back then, but we made it. And we had good neighbors in the area, predominantly Black area back then. And like I say, everything was really nice. Your downtown area, we had a couple of dry goods stores. And we had a Crawford's grocery store. And they had in the back of there, they had the slaughtering. They did all their slaughtering in the back of the store. Whereas now they have trucks bringing stuff in. But back then they actually did all of their slaughtering in the back of the grocery store. And they had a produce place behind the store where the chickens were done. So, and I can remember, you know, we would go there to purchase groceries or whatever. And there was a service station off of Mill Street, which was Highway 77, which is now is named Mill Street. And there was a service station called Porter's Service Station. So my dad had an account there, and we could get anything we wanted, and he didn't have to sign for us or anything. We kind of abused it a little bit because we go get ice cream. By the time we walk home, we done ate your ice cream up. But it was nice back then. I had no clue of how segregation, all that stuff was going on because I didn't know the difference. I was only 6 years old. So, but it was okay. I can have no problem with, you know, with things where it happened. We done well. So I don't know what else, you know, is there anything else that you need to know? My family, they had, I think, like 150 some acres in Lake Dallas where we moved from. My great grandfather and his sisters, they all lived on the farm, and we still, the original house farm is still there. One of my cousins live in the house now, they redone it. But the most part of it was cooperative engineer bought it and put the lake in. The house that we lived in, which was a one-room house, you know, but it was I was the baby during the time, and I had a sister and an older sister and a brother. It was three of us until we moved to Louisville. My baby sister was born down Railroad Street in Louisville. So anyway, what else, you know, that you need to know? That's about all I can.
Can you give us a description for those of us that came after all of the major development? Can you kind of explain to us what areas your family's land was located or where you all were? Because again, now it's all developed. So can you kind of give us some type of geographic? Yes.
Yeah, the family, for some of my family members, matter of fact, my house is on some McKenzie property, which was cousins of mine. And we had the Henry Street, which their house was on Henry, the name of the street after the Henry Street, after Henry House. And their son was the first dentist in Dallas, Texas. He was a black dentist. The Henrys were, the son was Dr. Henry. And then the McKenzie, one of the guys was well, he was a brother to them, but they were all the McKenzies and the Henrys were like first cousins, and then the Brothertons, and one of the Brothertons was the first black police officer in downtown Dallas. They had property down off Railroad Street also. Brothertons did. So pretty much the neighborhood that where I'm still there was my family's property from, you know, distant cousins or whatever, but they all own their own land, and our ancestors saw fit to do a cemetery for us, which I'm proud of. It was hard back then, but they made it. They made a private cemetery for us to be rested in. So I'm proud of my ancestors and my families. So they've done well for the times that thing back then. I'm sure it was really hard. I never had to go through that stuff. You know, by the time I came along, things had changed. And I never had to experience that. So I'm just proud of them, what they've done. And like I said, Highway 77 was Mill Street in Louisville. And you can see right now what they have done to Mill Street. I mean, I can remember Mill Street they had another service station there. I think it was named Arches. And across the street was another service station, it was a St. Clair service station. And the Arches, they did leather work in their store. And my dad bought my mom a leather purse out of that Arches store. I still have that leather purse. It's like, you know, put like the saddles on horses saddle. Well, this purse is like that, belonged to my mom. I still have it. So I guess that's pretty much, you know, I go from Mill Street on to, you know, like in the one-room school, where everybody was in one room, all the grades from pre-primer. It started back in pre-primer back in that day. And they went up to the 6th grade and we were all in one room. And for the longest, we had no lunchroom, and they finally took where they hang the coats, called the coat room, and they made a kitchen out of it so they could cook our lunches. Well, I lived down the street, so I didn't get to eat very many lunches at school because I was too close to the school. So I just ran down across the trail and went home and ate. But it was nice.
And I know Denise and your cousin Denise, you all had Denise is from Grapevine. Grapevine actually is one of our cities too. So Denise, if you'd like to share some of the information, she had some very interesting things that I was really surprised to hear as well about Grapevine.
Okay, well, I will say this. I've been busy today. My uncle that you spoke with on Saturday, George Chambers, and then I have another person. He's going to give you some information on Grapevine, and then Moser Valley, which is right outside of, it's in between Euless and Grapevine. That was the area where they had most of the Black people live, and Bear Creek, which is the Black portion of Irving. So our family, and my cousin here is Renee Pratt behind me. The Brewer family was the first Black family in Grapevine, followed by, I believe, the Chamberses and the Pattersons. With that being said, I've gotten my uncle, George Chambers, and Billy Wayne Chambers, who is also the minister here in Louisville. He's going to be able to, when you get ready to interview them, they'll give you more insight. There's 2 Black cemeteries in Bear Creek area, which is where the Black people live in Irving. And then in Grapevine, like I said, our family was the first Black family. Some information on what I've learned throughout the years. Our family actually owned property where the DFW airport is. And that property was, I won't say, I don't know, I'll let them give you all the details because I'm a baby, but but it was removed. They moved from there and was given a little portion of about an acre, almost an acre and a half, 2 acres on what we call the hill. And the hill is the Black section now of where the Black people lived in Grapevine back in those days. With that being said, the people normally, most of the Black people at the time, because they did all the work, they worked for the more dominant Black people and white people. And so mostly everything that was built in Grapevine back then was built by our family members. And we are a product of 2 families, the first 2 families in Grapevine, the Chamberses and the Brewers. And then it just went on from there. Like I said, when you asked Crystal about Coppell, from what I was told, I don't believe there was any Black people in Coppell. Our grandfather worked for Channel 8, which had a location in Coppell, and he was the Black janitor there. And they actually did I won't say an interview. They interviewed him after so many years before he retired, when he worked there. But anyway, we have Grapevine, Mother Valley, Bear Creek, and the Louisville area, and where most of the Black people lived back in those days. And they will be able to give you more information going forward. And that we're going to be George Chambers and Billy Wayne Chambers. And I do have someone else that I haven't confirmed yet, but he will be giving you some information on the history of Irving, the Bear Creek area. So that's where we are. In the Bear Creek area, you know how they have the Bear Creek Golf Course? They all own that land back there. So the Bear Creek Golf Course, Bear Creek Cemetery, and all that was part of our family's property at one point in time. So, and I have a book that I'm going to share with you that the great city of Grapevine has started doing their historian type things. And they have a small mention of our family, but it's not the same recollection of what we have heard throughout the years. It's a little different. So there you go. That's all I have. But I have some information on people that's going to be working with you.
Okay.
So
Now, do you all, what about Flower Mound area? Because that area is pretty close. Do you all have any family connections there? And if anybody has any questions, I'm going to allow you all to ask them questions in just a second too.
Well, no, Flower Mound, when I can remember, I don't remember going to Flower Mound, but they said my aunt was telling how it was nothing but cotton fields out there. When I was growing up in, you know, back in the day, we never went no further than downtown Louisville, and they said they would go pick cotton out there in Flower Mound. But I wasn't old enough to go pick cotton. I remember going to the gin with my dad, and then we'd go to Frisco and help his brother-in-law out. They worked on the man's farm out there, and they would go out there and help him out. And I was, like I said, I was a baby at the time, so I got to ride in the truck where they would take the cotton to the gin. And so I got to get all of the chocolate sodas and all of the candies and stuff. Everybody else had to stay back because I was the youngest one, so I got to do all of that by myself. And they gave me a nickname of Chicken. I don't know where it came from, but that's what my uncle used to call me. Nobody called me that now. That's the first time I even mentioned it to anybody, but that's what they called me back then. But yeah, we I don't know if the name was Brown Man was Cotton, I think. I don't remember nothing else. They used to go out there and pick cotton.
Now, do you remember the Rainwater family?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we lived on the Rainwater place down off of Railroad Street. I remember Miss Chapman, I think, was in Carrollton. We used to see the Methodist church where I grew up in as small. In Carrollton, they had one pastor for the Carrollton church and Louisville church. And I can't remember the pastor's name. My mind is not where it needs to be. I can't remember his name, but he would drive up here, like this time of the year when school was out, he would drive up here and pick up the children here in Louisville and drive them back to Carrollton. And we would have church with Bible school, Sunday, with them during the summer. And I remember some of the kids from Carrollton, and it wasn't Rainwater girls that was there in the church during the time. And Miss Chapman was a school teacher, I think, in Carrollton at the time. But pretty much the Reverend Rainwater that you're talking about, I don't remember him because he was a little older. And I remember his brother, I think the one that just passed away. I remember him. And but yeah, my mom was kin to the Rainwaters on my mom's side, not my dad's side. My dad was a Fox, descendants of the Foxes. Oh, and by the way, Fox Avenue in Louisville is named after our family. So we have Fox Avenue, McKenzie, and Henry streets named after my family members.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. And also you, Denise, we appreciate your family, you all taking the time to make sure she got on the Zoom today and share with us. I would like to open the floor for anybody else that would have any questions or comments for the family or for Ms. Brodnick. Okay, so one thing that we're going to be doing with this family is, and you all stop me or put it in the chat or raise your hand or something if somebody has a question that comes up. But I think it's important, you all across this nation, we constantly hear about the book bans, what you can and can't teach about history, them trying to suggest that slavery was, that it was indentured. I think the indentured is the word that they used, that it was voluntary, not that it was forced labor. But that's why, one of the reasons why it's important for us to preserve the history of our community. As most of you all know, many of us have moved to the suburban areas of Carrollton, Capel, Louisville, Flower Mound, Grapevine, but never hear of the history. You know, when Reverend Rainwater got on the call and shared that where 35 runs, his family had over 100 acres there, where the Sandy Lake Park used to exist, and how it looks as if the land was taken to run the freeway. And so that has happened in a lot of areas. Even in Dallas, they have a similar situation where Black families owned massive acres of land, and then they decided to run freeways and highways through our territory. So we, as Denise mentioned, we are looking for a group of people in the community to come together. We're going to try to connect with one of the universities in the area to help gather this history and preserve it. Miss Jackie Shaw and another young lady in the Louisville area, group of people have been working very hard and doing very well at in uncovering cemeteries with Black families in it, and in previously enslaved people in it. They've been cleaning it up, and we've gone out and we've helped. And so you all stay tuned for that. I think there's going to be another one coming up soon, but they are doing a great work in preserving that history. So I think it's very important if we could gather a group of people together and connect with some of the students at one of the local universities to also help in this endeavor to preserve the history of the Black history in these communities. Again, thank you to the family. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay. Thank you all so much. Again, we greatly appreciate you all. We'll be looking forward to working with you all in the very near future as we gather this group of people together to help work on this project. We are super excited and looking forward to it. And on yesterday, I want to share, I think that was yesterday. Yeah, my days are mixed up. I think it was yesterday. The city of Carrollton, and you all know, again, I mentioned that we're celebrating Juneteenth. And I know Denise Wooten went to a celebration in the community as well. I thank you and appreciate you sharing it with us. But the city of Carrollton, they had a ceremony on yesterday where they raised the Juneteenth flag. I'll be sure to share some of those pictures with Drew, but if you go to our Facebook page, there is a very, very short video. The ceremony was not very long. I think it was maybe 20-30 minutes, but please go take time to view that. I actually thought I was just going to be attending. I didn't realize that I was on the program, so I did the invocation. I did represent you all well. And also I was on the program to give, to be one of the speakers. And so, and I'll share some of the same sentiments that I shared, some of the same things that I shared with them in honor of, as we commemorate, as we celebrate Juneteenth. I personally feel, of course, we all want to celebrate Juneteenth. We have come a long way, but the reality is that slavery just looks different. From an African-American standpoint and perspective, there's still a lot to be done. I mean, we may live in our own homes, we may go to work and have money, but many of us daily, regularly face inequality, inequity. There are times where we're more educated, more qualified, but yet we get skipped over for promotions or even the job offer in general. Our communities in times coming going forward, you all are going to be hearing some things about environmental justice. As you all know, I'm the state vice chair for the Environmental Justice Committee for the state of Texas. And President Biden just formed the Office of Environmental Justice. And they've been doing environmental justice, climate justice stuff for a while in America, and they've been investing in that space. But what Biden's administration has found that oftentimes that those funds, those efforts allowed environmental violations in communities that look like us. And so with this new administration and the Office of Environmental Justice and the Justice 40, the J40 efforts, is basically going into those communities where the EPA has identified possible pollutants, such as around landfills, water sanitation plants, also manufacturing plants and other things that have been neglected in Black and brown communities. So you all are going to be hearing more about that. I'm doing some things with my personal nonprofit organization, and I'm going to find a way to also share some of those opportunities with you all, and especially to advocate and educate, because as I begin to get educated in this community, the first thing that comes to mind, and I hope did to you all, right in Louisville, there's a landfill. And during Earth Week, I tuned in, and they shared that there should not be residents within 5 miles of any landfill. And if they are within 5 miles radius, they are being exposed to very, very harmful contaminants. And so that is something that we're going to be investigating and definitely speaking about. I had a meeting in Austin over the weekend, in Houston, and then I was able to have access to a portal that the EPA has, and you can research a certain address and see what pollutants are in that area, anything that could of concern. And one thing I was able to discover that they are about to put a sanitation, some type of plant near Capel. And it's right in the residential neighborhoods, and it was in less than 2 or 3 miles of where I live. And I know, as active as those residents are, as we are in Capel, the people don't know. And so baby legislation is something that we need to look at, that these plants be required to make certain efforts for a certain amount of time to ensure that the residents are aware of what they're doing and what possible dangers they are presenting. But anyway, again, during our Juneteenth celebration on yesterday in Carrollton, one call to action that I left them with, and I'll share here, it's fun to go out and celebrate and do all our festive things. But what's important is that when we have a voice and when we are in a place to take action, that we need to take action. And we have so many people that don't look like us that claim to be advocates, but then when they go to the polling places, it's obvious they're exercising something else behind closed doors. Even in private conversations, those are times that we can use our voice to advocate for Black and brown, marginalized, underserved individuals. We can lift our voices in those spaces, and we're all called to do that. Even in spaces that look like us. You all, I had a gentleman that called me, wanted me to do a consultation with him for some business stuff on yesterday. And I said, sir, I don't have very long to talk because I have an engagement that I'm on my way to, so I only have a few minutes. And then when we ended the conversation, I said, oh, what are you doing to celebrate Juneteenth? He told me he didn't celebrate Juneteenth. Jesus Christ. So you can only imagine my thoughts as an African-American male to claim that he didn't celebrate Juneteenth and the other things that he shared. And I said, oh, dear God, bless his little heart, because I'm sure somebody's going to remind him how Black he is before he dies. And so that's another story. But anyway, but yes, definitely. And then, just asking what I asked them in Carrollton, and as I would any jurisdiction or council member leader, to make sure they are exercising governance and leadership that provides a way and makes way for people of different backgrounds to have just as much opportunity as others that are not European descent. I mean, people that are European descent, and making sure that we have the same opportunities. As we all know, our governor just signed omitting the DEI efforts that, again, all the progress we've made, he's rolling us backwards. So that's another thing, another story as well. But I encourage our leaders to make sure that they are driving policies and efforts in our cities and in our spaces that really, 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 really promote equity and equality for everybody. So again, happy Juneteenth to each and every one of you all. Does anybody else have any comments or want to share about any other Juneteenth experiences they had on yesterday evening? There was an organization's Freedom Can't Wait was the theme. And matter of fact, they had some stuff today, and I wish I had thought about it because I would have went back by there again yesterday. But yesterday afternoon, my pastor, Pastor Haynes, Rabbi Nancy Caston, who has been with us before numerous times, and I think she's still a member of our branch, and some other leaders joined with Faith in Texas, and they had a panel discussion on pluralism, and basically just talking about collaborations and promoting togetherness and unifying efforts with religious spaces that are not the same. Learning how to work together in our spaces and identifying areas where we really, really or truly have so much in common, even with those that don't look like us, and how we can gather our power and effort to really make a difference for us all. So yes, if anybody else wants to share. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward. I did drop some things in the chat for you all to take a look at, but let me get to the fun stuff, some other fun stuff. Again, Sounds of Louisville is happening all summer long through the month of June and July. They have free concerts on Tuesdays. So next month, our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Madam Treasurer, I've been saying, since COVID, you all, we've been meeting virtually. Well, I want to see you all. I want to spend some time with you all. And so I was thinking that maybe we could consider starting to have quarterly meetings in person. That'd be an opportunity for us to fellowship with one another, see one another, and meet with one another. So she suggested in July, on the night that our meeting was scheduled, they're going to have a Purple Rain Day at the Sounds of Louisville. So none other than RC the Grits. You all, RC used to be a member of Friendship West. He has several Grammys. He's traveled all over the world, literally. Someone was detected at your office. Y'all, I'm sorry, I can't turn it off, but he's traveled all over the world. I love RC and the Grits. I went to a concert last night, and I shook tail feather last night too. RC hosted an event downtown Dallas at the AT&T Discovery Center, but they are going to be in Louisville on July the 18th, I think it is, whatever the third Tuesday is. And Monica suggested that we meet there for our meeting. And I thought that was a fabulous idea. So take a picture of this information. Stay tuned to our Facebook page and also the newsletter. We'll have more information in the newsletter. But in the chat, you all could unmute or whatever, give us your thoughts. It's a free concert. I did go identify a restaurant in the area that is willing to host us. It's an Italian restaurant. It's literally right across the street where the lawn is. So you bring your chairs and your blankets for the concert. But before, I would like for us to meet across the street and break bread together. Also, we have new officers that we need to have installed. So I am going to make sure that we do the installation of our officers during this time as well. And so I'm thinking we would need, the concert would start at 7. So I'm thinking if we met at 5:30, no later than 5:30, so we'll have time to eat and order and pay and get over to a place on the lawn would be great. So again, stay tuned. And if you all have any comments or suggestions, please open your mouth, unmute and let us know now, or make a comment in the comment section. But it's a really nice Italian restaurant and the prices are fairly decent. I did check that out. I didn't want us spending hundreds of dollars to eat, but they have pasta, pizza, salads, all kind of stuff. And it was within reason. But listen, after we go party, after we have our installation service, and after we eat, you all, we're gonna go turn up and celebrate Prince and all the fine tunes and everything with RC and the Grits and others in the community. Y'all, isn't that exciting? Y'all excited about that? I know y'all are gonna join us out there. So again, we'll try to have dinner at Donona, which is an Italian restaurant. And that's the address. Go ahead and take a picture of that. And again, as we get closer in the coming days, we'll make sure to put the information out. And then we're looking for suggestions to have quarterly meetings. That restaurant did say that they would be willing to host us to have, because it's a private room where we can meet there. I did also go check with Louisville Mall, and believe it or not, you all, went to the food court area. I think it's only 2 restaurants still standing. I have not been in that mall in forever. And I was like, oh my God, like literally in the food court, restaurants are open. So they're now under new management. They're no longer Music City Mall, but they still have that community area on the 2nd floor. So I'm waiting to hear back from them as an option, because we do have people that are part of our branch or tunes in to our meetings that are not in this general area. So I'd want to make it as convenient as possible for everybody. Also, I spoke to you all earlier about a history preservation team to try to help us preserve some of this history that Ms. Broadnax and her family, just shared with us. And so also we have a few people, and we have a couple of people on the call today. I appreciate you all for joining the call. We are going to make an effort to get our youth council started. I'm super excited for that. You all, we have got to provide space for our youth to get engaged and involved at a young age. And so we have a team of people that have expressed interest in getting our youth council started. And for those of you that are interested, as soon as we end this meeting, we're going to talk a few minutes, because we need to come up with a formal date and time to have that first initial meeting. I'm hoping we can get it kicked off within the next couple of months. And so I'm super excited about that. And if you know anybody that may be interested, have them to let us know. And also on the call today, I had a family reunion, you all, on Sunday. And one of my cousins, Miss Talia Johnson Watkins, who is on the call today, she is a paralegal. And so she was interested in getting involved and engaged. And so she has expressed interest in helping us get our legal redress team going. So I'm super excited that Talia will be helping me get that going. And again, Talia's family, that's my cousin. And so I'm looking forward to that. So if you know anybody that was previously engaged or would like to get engaged with our legal redress team, you do not have to have a legal background or anything, but we need you on deck. So everybody on the call should be doing something. And I see Miss Tawana Lawrence. I know some of you all got on the call after we recognized our guests and visitors, but if anybody else wants to unmute and say hello, I see Miss Tawana Lawrence on the call. She's from East Texas, from Longview. She is a classmate and friend of my aunts and mother. And so I'm super excited to have her on the call today as well. And let's see. And so our book club, I do have a list of names, and I have some people helping us get that together, because you all can't see it, but in my office, I got all these books and I'm ready to get rid of them. And the author has said he's going to do a book signing. So we've been trying to get that together for a while. So if anybody wants to volunteer to try to help push that forward, I already have the list of speakers, and I just need somebody to help put everything in motion. Our July team meeting and committee meetings again will be the second Monday, simply because of 4th of July. So we're going to move that over 1 week. So that would be July the 10th at 7 p.m. And I don't know what I just did. Okay. And then our general meeting, as I stated, we're going to go to the Sounds of Louisville. So be looking forward to more information about that. And take a picture of this. If you are not already registered to vote, things are going to move pretty quickly in the next couple of months, because we do have elections coming up, and we need everybody to be certified as a VDR, which is a volunteer deputy registrar. You're required to be certified in the state of Texas. Connect with us. There's our email address, dfwmetro2020@gmail.com. and connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, all those other social media platforms. Check your spam. We had 2 newsletters that went out this week. So you all please give a hand to our communications team and our communications leader, Ms. Druber. She is a superstar and she worked very hard, her and Eva, to get our 2 newsletters out this month. So please check your spam if you didn't see it. And as Kimberly mentioned earlier, if indeed you are not getting newsletters or our communications, opt in at dfwmetro.naacp.org. Thank you so much to our officers, our leaders, and our members in the community. We appreciate you all joining our meeting tonight. I'm going to stay on the call if anybody has any questions or anything, but I want to say thank you again to our officers and all of their very, very hard work. And we look forward to seeing you all next month on July the 10th and at the concert. So we are officially ending the meeting. And if anybody jumped on later and wanted to say hello